planet change in real time.
Many say that climate scientists are being alarmist, that they're overstating the case, and yet what we're observing is that climate modeling is generally conservative, that things are happening even more quickly than had been expected.
This is the future we must avert.
Now, as part of President Obama's commitment to fight climate change, the EPA is proposing new rules to reduce emissions from existing power plants. Monday, the administration will lay out the plan.
We're looking forward to a very substantial proposal from the President and the EPA. If we do our job here in the United States, we'll send a signal all around the world. The Chinese are watching, the Europeans are watching, the Indians are watching. They want to know that we're in the game and pulling our weight.
Under the 1970 Clean Air Act, the EPA will target some of the biggest polluters, nearly 600 coal-fired power plants across the U.S. that create nearly 40% of our energy. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce, a business and industry-funded group, says the move could cost money and jobs. But not everyone agrees on the implication.
The key here is to get the most pollution reduction you can from these dangerous power plants. It's time to take that on. And if we do it in this smart, flexible way, it can create jobs, not cost jobs. It can lower consumers' electric bills, not raise them.
This move follows another set of rules on new power plants that went into effect in January. It won't just limit emissions, but will offer states and companies new flexibility in how they meet the stricter standards. The possible result, a significant step in the shift to cleaner, renewable energy.
The President has a strong commitment to doing this. I think he views this as his legacy, and it will be our generation's legacy also.
I'm meteorologist Julie Martin, The Weather Channel.
First day of June for today. Coming up, a busy time of the year for vacations, maybe some graduations that you're going to be attending this week from high schools that are finishing up for the semester. And here's what it looks like your 7-day forecast today. A few of those afternoon showers still possible across the southeast. Now, what we'll be tracking is this cold front making its way across the country. So a better chance of maybe some severe weather for places like Chicago down to St. Louis and even down into northern areas of Oklahoma by tomorrow afternoon. Biggest risk with those storms will be some damaging hail. We can't rule out the possibility of a tornado as well and some strong gusty winds. Tuesday into Wednesday, this all pushes to the east. Temperatures not too bad. We'll be warming up in places like Dallas at 94. Boy, the desert Southwest will be baking the next few days. We're talking about highs running 10 to 15 degrees above average. Places like Phoenix, Arizona, all the way up to Denver, Colorado. We'll see highs here close to 90. A little bit cooler by Thursday at 79. A few more clouds as the next system makes its way off to the east. 92 in Dallas and 88 in Atlanta. Details coming up on the Tropical Update after this break.
Hey, what you doing today? I'm riding down the highway. I'm just rolling, just like that.
The great thing about a Subaru is you don't have to put up with that new car smell for long.
I saw you.
The versatile 2015 Subaru Forester.
Hey, what you doing today?
Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru.
3 vacuum cleaners, 3 paths of test dust. Only one has powerful suction, without the hassle of a cord.
Now save up to $100 on Dyson technology.
As a commercial beekeeper, Dave tracks the Weather Channel forecast closely, predicting when crops across the country will bloom and need bees for pollination. At a moment's notice, he loads and trucks thousands of bees, keeping his eye on the weather to ensure his fragile cargo makes it to the blooms on time. When the bees and blooms matter, Dave turns to the Weather Channel.
Currently in our area, 84 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. This afternoon, scattered showers or thunderstorms. High 85. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
The sun has always powered life. And now it powers our latest innovation to heat and cool your home more efficiently. Introducing the world's only solar-powered home energy system, which saves you up to half off your heating and cooling bill. Get up to $1,700 back or special financing on select Lennox home comfort systems. Lennox, innovation never felt so good.
For more information, contact your local Lennox dealer.
Let's try on a new coat, one that covers better, lasts longer, and protects us from the elements, inside and out. Let's go to the place with the best paint. Take it home for less. Then rock and roll. Let's do the one thing that changes everything. Let's do this. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Right now, get $5 off cans and $20 off buckets of select paints and stains.
Peace of mind is important when you're running a successful business. So we provide IT services you can rely on. With CenturyLink as your trusted IT partner, you'll experience reliable uptime for the network and services you depend on. Multi-layered security solutions keep your information safe and secure. And responsive, dedicated...
I really want to talk to you about being safe online, but I'm legitimately petrified it's going to turn into a conversation about sex. And that's just not something I'm ready for. So I'm just going to give you a little kiss on the head, which means I can look at your screen. Oh, good. Okay, bye.
Learn how to talk to your kids about being safe online and more at commonsense.org.
Behavioral Health of the Palm Beaches Recovery Center for Men provides quality, evidence-based treatment to men battling addiction. Offering medical detox, expert counseling from licensed clinical therapists, and activity-based therapies, we help men overcome their addiction and rebuild their lives. We understand the unique substance abuse issues that men face and are ready to help you take your life back. Visit rehabformen.com to get your fresh start.
Refund the shipping and even pay the return postage. Try NoNo risk-free today.
AMHQ Monday Morning. The idea so big.
People all over the world want this to happen.
It could change the planet. AMHQ Monday Morning. Only on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to Weather Center Live. Time for your tropical update. I am hurricane specialist Dr. Greg Postel with the latest on developments in the tropics, which are now actually, they're beginning to heat up. It's not surprising because today is the first day of the Atlantic hurricane season. We've got something to look at there, but we also have something to look at in the Pacific that's a little bit more developed, I should say. We have a tropical low, or an Invest 93E, it's called, from the National Hurricane Center. It's this cluster of thunderstorms a couple of hundred miles to the south of the Mexican coast that we've got our eye on for the possibility, in fact, a high probability, a 90% chance of developing into a named storm or depression in the next 5 days. So we'll keep an eye on it for you there. Looking at it on the visible satellite pictures, it's looking fairly healthy. You've got scattering of thunderstorms here where we think the low-level circulation is. There's no data really to support that claim, but we have some model data that can fill in the gaps, which does indeed show a pretty organized circulation not very far away from where those thunderstorms are. So when you have that together, the storms and the low-level swirl, that is a configuration that we have to watch for possible development. And of course, we have that 90% probability on that. In the environment it's in, it makes sense that the probabilities are that high because the atmosphere is supportive of development in this region. It's humid. The ocean water is warm, and I want to point out that the jet stream is not really anywhere near it. It's not going to be interfering with it, at least for the next couple of days. Here, the winds aloft are relatively light, so I think the chance for development, again, is pretty high, so we'll keep an eye on it. Let's look now over in the Atlantic side. June is obviously the month where we begin to look at development here, beginning officially of the hurricane season. These are the typical formation zones across the region, all the way from the Caribbean, Gulf of Mexico, and Atlantic. And these are the typical tracks that we see in June. So let's look out that way over the Gulf of Mexico. There's some thunderstorm activity. It's actually not even as well organized as it was yesterday. And the reason why is because we have some very strong winds that are sort of tearing at those storms that are trying to organize, thanks to a big dip in the jet stream right in here. So with all those fast winds aloft here, I don't think development is likely anytime soon. However, let's look in the southwest corner of the Gulf of Mexico, the Bay of Campeche. There's a broad area of low pressure. You can see some visible clouds here slowly swirling around. But you know what? This is probably not going to develop either, even though the Hurricane Center gives this area a 20% chance of developing in the next 5 days, guys. I don't think the odds are real high. I think there's just going to be too much wind shear, too much of a jet stream in place over the next several days for anything to get going, but we'll keep an eye on it. Back to you.
All right, thank you, Dr. Postel. We actually have some breaking weather news to tell you about. We have a tornado warning. Okay. This is right on the border of Iowa and Minnesota. As we zoom in here, you can see where the red box is. That is the active tornado warning, so it's just to the west of I-35 at this hour. And as you can see here, this is Winnebago County in Iowa until 1:15 p.m. local time. If you're in Lake Mills, Rake, or Scarville, now is the time to take cover. And we have reports that this is moving to the northeast at about 30 miles per hour. So again, it is a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. It is located about 15 miles west of Lake Mills or 17 miles northwest of Forest City, and that is right on the Iowa and Minnesota border. And I have to say, when you look at that there, we do have a lot of the red and the green coming together, and that's where we can see rotation produced. So this is what we're watching out for today, and we are going to see this track to the north and the east. We expect it to get to Alden at 123, 145 to Clarks Grove, and 156 to Ellendale. So please take cover. Ryan.
Thanks so much, Colin, for that update. Well, if you're not watching the Weather Channel tonight, you might end up catching hell at work tomorrow because everyone's going to be talking about our new show, Catching Hell. Maria Rosa joined on board of the crew to meet what's happening.
The crews of Catching Hell do most of their work 100 miles off the Florida coast in a pristine section of the Gulf called the Middle Grounds.
Holy crap! I make one mistake and I'm dead.
They risk their lives at extreme depths for mouth-watering entrees that foodies fawn over.
All these Niagara snappers, $15, $20 bills.
Paul Varian is what you might call an underwater cowboy.
You have been taken to decompression chambers 15 times. Can you be a successful spearfisher without taking that huge risk?
There's always going to be a risk involved. It's a dangerous job. The 15 times in the hyperbaric chamber were for one incident, so not 15 separate times. But so no, I never want to go back. It was awful.
The divers come face to face with some scary predators, but one of their biggest enemies is the weather. Captain Childress is in charge of their safety.
Keeping ahead of the weather in your line of work is a matter of life and death. What is your formula for staying on top of it?
When you're getting ready for a trip, if things aren't going well, if the forecast is flip-flopping, a lot of times I'll just pull the plug.
Call him a man's man or a meteorologist for tough guys, but this captain's job is to make sure they catch fish and not hell of a storm. I'm meteorologist Maria Rosa, the Weather Channel.
Now, the series premiere of Catching Hell is tonight at 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific. You can only see it right here on the Weather Channel.
We'll have more information on that tornado warning in Iowa in just a moment. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Currently in our area, 86 degrees under mostly cloudy skies. This afternoon, scattered showers or thunderstorms. High 85. Chance of rain 40%. Tonight, partly cloudy with isolated thunderstorms possible. Low 76. Chance of rain 30%. Here's our 7-day outlook.
We have have a tornado warning to tell you about at this hour is right there on that Iowa-Minnesota border. So I'm going to zoom in, and you can see where the red box is located. This is a tornado warning for Winnebago County. So if you're in Lake Mills, Rake, or Scarville, now is the time to take cover, and this is in effect until 1:15 p.m. Central Time, moving to the north and the east at 30 miles per hour. As we start to warm up in the afternoon, we are expecting these to fire off, and that's exactly what we're seeing. And then we move a little bit further to the west to Nebraska, and you can see we have a severe thunderstorm warning. So this is to the east of North Platte along Highway 80, and this one is in Dawson County until 1 p.m. So if you are in Lexington, please be careful, everyone. These storms could be very dangerous today. We're also seeing flooding concerns, so moving back over to that Minnesota-Iowa border, and you can see just the south of Mankato, we've got flash flood warnings in place there for Blue Earth, Faribault, and Martin. We are going to monitor the weather as we go throughout the afternoon, and we will break into programming if we need to do that to make you aware of any severe weather coming your way.
They're big and bad.
Folks, please take cover immediately.
The most terrorizing twisters of all time.
Unbelievable!
The deadliest.
I'll never get my husband's screaming out of my head.
The most destructive.
Damage is being done in Tuscaloosa.
A monster that rips a newborn from its mother's arms.
I was begging to die because I'd lost Leah.
An unpredictable giant that slams storm chasers.
Next thing you know, it's just this violent tumbling over and over and crush, crush, crush.
And a tornado so devastating, it still causes panic long after it's gone.
It wasn't just a little fear. This was a big, bad fear.
We're counting down the top 10 worst tornadoes. Tornadoes. They're the most ferocious forces that Mother Nature can muster up. Hello, I'm meteorologist Jim Cantori, and prepare yourself for a wild ride as we roll out the top 10 worst tornadoes of all time. Here in the U.S., we average about 1,300 tornadoes a year, which on average kills 70 people. These twisters come in all shapes and sizes and can last seconds or be on the ground for hours. But we're talking about the most malicious supercells and extraordinary super outbreaks ever to touch down in the U.S.
When you see one of these monster tornadoes, you'll never forget it. It's etched in your brain forever because it's almost like you're having an out-of-body experience. Like you can't believe what you're seeing is real.
It's always kind of shocking to see that nature can become so explosive and so deadly.
There aren't very many things that are capable of knocking houses down, and yet tornadoes can do that without a whole lot of trouble.
We often get questions about, well, why don't we just do something to dissipate tornadoes? Well, the answer is that energy concentration is so large that it would take something like a thermonuclear device to dissipate a tornado.
It's like watching a rotational bomb go off. And they're very dangerous. And they're a little bit mysterious. We don't exactly understand why they form, and we can't predict them very far in advance.
Our countdown criteria was determined by the Weather Channel's world-renowned severe weather experts and takes into consideration damage, deaths, size, and strength. So let's get started, and we do so with a real beast. It's one of the widest twisters ever recorded, and its unusual movement made it a nightmare for storm chasers. At number 10, the 2013 El Reno, Oklahoma tornado. It packed winds up to 295 miles per hour and grew to a staggering 2.6 miles wide. Although it stayed over mostly open terrain, its huge size and unusual movement caught dozens of storm chasers off guard. 4 of them, including well-known veteran researcher Tim Samaras, were killed when their vehicles were thrown.
The tornado has several violent multiple vortices within inside of it, and it makes a turn to the left. And while that's not completely unusual, it's not all that common. And that's one of the things that I think caught a lot of people by surprise was how it did that. The El Reno tornado is clearly going to be remembered for what occurred with storm chasers on that day.
This tornado made a rather abrupt left turn, but often as they make that left turn, they begin to shrink. This one actually was growing to its maximum width as it was making that turn, which made it very, very dangerous.
We had a tornado hunt crew that took a direct hit from this tornado as well. They were led by meteorologist Mike Bettis, who's extremely experienced and safety conscious. Here's a firsthand, harrowing account of what they went through.
That's not good for El Reno.
Got to get ahead of it, KP. Got to get ahead of it. We find a wide shoulder to pull off on. Our 3 cars pull over to the side. We do a broadcast for roughly 2 minutes or so.
Look at that monster. This is a huge tornado.
And then we make the decision that we need to move.
We may actually quickly try to get in our cars and get south of this. That'd be the safest place to do that.
From the time we stop broadcasting to the time we end up getting hit, that's 4 minutes. The tornado expands by a mile and increases its forward speed by 20 miles an hour. Ends up being a perfect storm that just hits us broadside on the passenger side of our car and tosses us off into a field. And I remember yelling to the guys, "Get down."
Hold on, brothers. Hold on.
You know, duck down, and all I'm thinking is cover your head, get down below the windows. Next thing you know, it's just this violent tumbling over and over and crush, 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 and you're just being thrown. And then there's this moment I remember where we were lifted off the ground. It felt like an eternity. It was literally probably a second or two. We're floating in the air, and I'm having this thought, you know, man, like, am I dead? Is this kind of what it feels like to ascend to heaven? And I also remember at the same time, I mean, I saw my wife's face. She didn't say anything. It was just her face that appeared. And then next thing you know, crash. I mean, we come down, we hit hard, and we just start tumbling over and over and over again. I remember when we hit, I remember thinking that I was alive. I remember thinking, man, I'm not dead. I didn't die when we hit. And then we finally stopped, right side up. And I just remember screaming to the other guys, "Hey, are you okay? Are you okay?" And they all responded back. Everyone was alive, everyone was conscious, and it was just a huge relief to know that everyone had made it through it.
I was recording out of the window, and I rolled the window up. All of a sudden, the window bashes out. I'm just trying to hold on to the camera. I've got it, the camera around my lens. It's on my shoulder, and I'm just trying to hold on. And I couldn't hold on after a while, and it just flew out. It just flew out. I didn't know what happened to it, and luckily somehow it landed and kept recording. And actually, it's the camera that's shooting this interview right now.
I watched that video of that camera landing in the field, perfectly framing our truck, just rolling through that field. I mean, it's amazing, and I just every time I see it, it feels like you're watching your own death.
What an incredible and terrifying ordeal to have to go through. Our next event began while 24 states were holding primary elections to select a presidential candidate. At number 9, it's the 2008 Super Tuesday outbreak. It generated 86 tornadoes over 15 hours across 10 states in the lower Ohio Valley and the southern U.S.
This is the largest February tornado outbreak on record. Pretty rare for this time of year, certainly not unheard of for there to be tornado outbreaks in the months of January and February, but usually you're expecting them later on in the spring.
And some of these tornadoes were nighttime tornadoes, and so they're hard to see coming. And so people don't have all the sensory information that they might otherwise have in a daytime outbreak.
There were 57 fatalities, making it the second deadliest outbreak in the month of February since 1950. 31 people were killed in Tennessee, which took the brunt of the system.
The outbreak featured 5 tornadoes that were rated EF4, including one that hit Jackson, Tennessee. Every building of Union University was damaged.
I was the most scared I've ever been in my life. And then, I knew there was a lot of damage, but then we walked outside and it was worse than I had ever imagined it would be.
It's a wonder that we didn't have not only dozens, but possibly hundreds of people killed. And we got out of here without anybody killed.
What makes it memorable to so many people is it was given the name Super Tuesday outbreak, is because there were so many people voting that day because it's a busier day than normal, and it's a busier weather day than normal. And not everyone's watching the weather. Everyone's watching politics that day. And then the weather became the story of the day.
Coming up on our countdown of the top 10 worst tornadoes. A tornado with the highest winds ever recorded. You won't believe what it did to a newborn baby.
That should have killed me, but it didn't. It just flung me.
And later, a twister so powerful that it nearly scared some people to death.
I was hyperventilating like this.
Will new Twizzlers Mixed Berry Bites ever end their rivalry with new Jolly Rancher filled gummy bites? Not today. Bites, little greatness.
Smoke?
Nah, I'm good.
Celebrate every win with Nicoderm CQ, the unique patch with time-release smart control technology that helps prevent the urge to smoke all day long. Help prevent your cravings with Nicoderm CQ.
Bridgestone tires perform best when you need it most.
Like when Julie Bowen is late taking her son to a birthday party.
Okay, people, you, front seat, you, out of my way. Julie has our new Drive Guard tires, the next generation of run-flat technology.
Oh, good. Nails.
Oh, these tires are engineered to take a puncture and then drive up to 50 miles.
50 miles? Great, because I remember the present, but I forgot the kid. Yeah, you need to check. Oh, I forgot. I have a lot of kids.
Amazing. I've been Claritin Clear for 6 days. At the first sign of my allergies, my doctor recommended taking 1 Claritin every day of my allergy season for continuous relief.
So I did. It's been 21 days and I'm still Claritin Clear.
16 days of relief from itchy, watery eyes.
28 days of continuous relief from sneezing and runny nose since I've been taking Claritin every day of my allergy season.
Get the #1 doctor-recommended non-drowsy allergy brand.
Live Claritin Clear every day.
Four-wheel steering is why I get up in the morning.
When my grandson grows up, it's his, but it's all mine now.
That's how we run, and nothing runs like a deer.
So, Duke, what do you think for our new Bush's Baked Beans video game? I think I'm getting the hang of it. Now, roll that beautiful bean footage. Yes! Bush's Baked Beans are slow cooked according to our secret family recipe for big flavor. Enjoy Bush's Baked Beans.
How rough the seas I deal with usually has to do with how broke I am. Because if I'm broke, I'll stay out in anything. It doesn't matter if it's rough. It doesn't matter if it's raining. I still gotta shoot fish.
Heavy rain and lightning expected.
I should probably be more scared of it now that you're on this boat.
Catching Hell, premiering tonight at 9 on the Weather Channel.
Welcome back to our countdown of the top 10 worst tornadoes. At number 10 was the El Reno, Oklahoma monster, one of the largest tornadoes ever measured. Number 9 was the 2008 Super Tuesday outbreak, which lasted over 15 hours and killed 57 people. Our next tornado was a massive F5 and is known for having the highest measured wind speed on record. At number 8, the 1999 Moore, Oklahoma powerhouse.
Tornado on the ground!
May 3rd, 1999, a day the state of Oklahoma will never forget. Dozens of supercell thunderstorms sweeping across the Central Plains would spawn more than 70 tornadoes.
Look at that wall cloud!
One of those storms would be different from the others. A tornado of epic proportions.
2 tornadoes directly next to each other. Unbelievable!
The instability, the warm, moist air, low levels, the colder air aloft was in place. Then as we headed later in the afternoon, early evening, a wind maximum, we call it a jet streak, came in from the southwest out of New Mexico and triggered the severe thunderstorms that then went on to produce violent tornadoes.
The outbreak was imminent. It was only a matter of when and where. The answer